team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with 5 things Sweden does better than America. We finna see what y'all talking about, Sweden. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You don't subscribe to any of it? For all links in the description, all you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. I'm human. I talk back. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got, Andrew?
Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and in this one, I'm talking about 5 things that Sweden does better than the United States. That's coming up. So guys, I thought it'd be fun to do this one and kind of pick 5 things that maybe you wouldn't think about that I think Sweden does better. And number 1 is going to be money. Now let me explain. When I first came to Sweden, I was not a big fan of the fact that the Swedish money, all the Swedish kroners, were different sizes. I always liked in the United States having all my bills exactly the same. Until someone said to me, Andrew, it's because people that are visually impaired or blind can tell the difference in the bills. And the more and more I thought about it, it just makes a lot of sense. It's something that we should probably do in the United States. Another thing I like is that Sweden is a cashless society. I didn't like it at first when I first came coming from the US. However, I haven't used any cash in 5 years. In Sweden, we have something called swish. Swish, swish, swish. And what we also have is bank ID.
Do that one more time, man. I'm sorry. I gotta see it one more time, Andrew.
Called swish. Swish, swish, swish. And what we also have is bank ID. Now, what's awesome about Swish is a phone app, basically, that if you have someone else's phone number, you can just go ahead and hit a couple buttons and send them money instantly to their bank account. What you need to have is a bank ID code. Now, bank ID is awesome. It's basically anytime you want to pay or buy something, you just simply type a code in. You can log in to do your taxes with a bank ID. It is a much more secure system than what we have in the United States. Sweden doesn't have the same problem with fraud that you do in the US, because many times if you have to make a online purchase of like $50 or more, you have to use your bank ID code and it won't work on your card, or you have to open up your card. So when you have things like Swish, you can go ahead and pay to people instantly. Now people never have an excuse to not pay you. They can't go, oh, I don't have money right now. If you're splitting the cost of something, you could just pay for it yourself and then they swish you instantly, which is awesome. It's nice to be able to use it at shops and purchases because you don't have to necessarily put your card in to use it that way. So that's also very secure. You're not giving out your card number or anything. You're just going ahead and swishing. Like I said, we don't have the problem with fraud that we have in the United States. I do think it's something we should look at in America to make it a little bit better. Number 2.
I think, yeah, there's different, if sending money to people, I mean, there's plenty of apps for that here, like, that you can instantly send money to someone, that's no problem. But to do it in stores and stuff, I think that's really cool. We don't have that. I mean, you don't have to use money. You can use your card in almost any store. But I haven't not used cash in 5 years, so I think that's pretty cool. I'd rather prefer, I think, a cashless society. I guess I'd have to see how it is, but I prefer not having cash on me. So I guess I'd prefer it that way anyway. I prefer using my card or sending money through an app on my phone. But to be able to use that app in stores, I think that's really cool.
We have the United States. I do think it's something we should look at in America to make it a little bit better. Number 2 has to be taxes. Now let me explain. When I do my taxes in the United States, my tax forms are usually almost 30 pages long. And in Sweden, you get a piece of paper that says, this is what you paid, and it takes 3 seconds to do. You basically log in with your bank ID, the one I mentioned earlier. You go to the Skatteverket app, which is the tax agency here in Sweden. Boop, boop, boop. You're done. Your taxes are done. It's a much less complicated system. Now, I know in America they have a computer system to use it, but I just think it's easier, and now taxes isn't this big, long kind of process you have to worry about. Another thing that Sweden does with taxes is sales tax. I actually kind of prefer this. What they do is they put the tax already in the item. So if something costs 25 crowns and it's a t-shirt at a store, it costs 25 crowns. When you go to pay, it's going to cost 25. You know, this was the first year when I went home to the United States that I was a little bit annoyed with the sales tax, because something's $100, but it's really $106 because you have to pay that. It's a major complaint I actually hear from people when they do go to the United States. They don't like the sales tax after the fact. It just seems to be like a more efficient way to do it, and I think that's something that Sweden does. But also, I feel that my taxes actually go to something here in Sweden as opposed to the United States. At least I see where it goes a lot more with the healthcare, with the free education, if you will. Number 3 is going to be.
I do understand that. I can understand where he's coming from on that. I hate the sales tax thing too. I think if it could be the other way, I think most Americans would actually prefer that you put like whatever it's gonna cost on the price tag. Whatever's on the price tag is however much I'm paying. We don't like the sales tax getting added on either. To do taxes, sheesh. I guess my personal taxes are pretty easy to do. I get through it pretty quickly. But I guess I never thought about other people who probably may have those 30 pages of taxes. And so it sounds like that's a good system. And seeing what your taxes are going to, that's probably the biggest one. Being able to see what your taxes are going to and helping out with, I think that's huge and that's incredible. So I agree with them on that one.
With the free education, if you will. Number 3 is going to be education as far as how you can make choices in education. Now, if you're in the United States and you're poor and you come from a poor area, you're pretty much stuck at that school system there. The problem with schools in poor areas typically has to be that those schools take a lot of their money for the school from the overall tax revenue from the people that live there. And when I was in Ohio, for example, in Youngstown, we had areas in Youngstown where they didn't have computers, they didn't have money for books, they weren't able to pay like high quality teachers. But here in Sweden, you have the ability to choose to go to any school you want to. As long as there's room for you, you have to sometimes wait in a queue. But what that means is no matter what social economic background you come from here in Sweden, you're going to be able to get the same quality education as someone that's rich as well. And I really think that that's a fantastic thing that they offer here in Sweden. Also, education is free, higher education, but you do usually have to pay for room and board and things like that. And what Sweden does is Sweden will give you money. It give you money to live off of, and for rent. You do have to pay that money back over time, but you have like 50 years to pay it off. You have like your whole life. You don't start.
Hold up. Time out on the play. Did he say higher education is free, but you do have to pay for room and board? But Sweden does give you money to live off of, to pay your rent and stuff. It's so when like in America, you just have to pay that money back over time. But I'm sure it's definitely not near as much as it is in America. But you telling me that you can go to college, free education, room and board, Sweden basically gives you loans for that you can pay over the next 50 years of your life. You don't gotta have a job. You ain't gotta work. Sweden. Shoot, I went to college in the wrong place. Talk to me though. And I really love the fact that you can go to any school because here, like he said, based off of where you live is based where you go to school. So if you live in a poor neighborhood or a poor community, you have to go to that poor school because you're in that school zone. If that makes sense. You can't go to the school across town or across the way because you're not in that zone. But I like how he said if they have room, like you can go to whatever school you want to. And rich or poor, doesn't matter. I think that's incredible. Talk to me.
And for rent, you do have to pay that money back over time, but you have like 50 years to pay it off. You have like your whole life. You don't start out in such a huge debt. I would probably say the average Swedish debt might be $5,000 to $10,000, where in the United States it's $30,000. It's really hard to start a home and a life when you're already in debt and a good portion of your money has to go to your education, especially if you don't get a job in the field that you even studied for. So I think it's a better system all the way around. Number 4 has to be recycling. In Sweden, no matter where you go, if you live in an apartment complex, there's always an area you can go where you can throw away trash, your food, metal, colored bottles, clear bottles, plastic. With aluminum, what you can do is every store where you buy, whether it's beer or Coca-Cola, you have to pay like a 6 cents extra for the bottle, or 1 krona in Swedish, and what you do is you get your money back when you go and recycle. Every grocery store has a place where you can put your aluminum cans back in. What I like about it is it gives everybody an incentive to recycle. There's no excuse. You're already going to the store. You just bring your aluminum bottles there, or your aluminum cans there. Also, what I like about it is if people leave their bottles or trash outside for whatever reason, they forget, people are going to pick it up and take it to the machine for money. And that's another thing. If you are homeless in Sweden, like we don't have really homeless, but if you are people that don't have a lot of money, if you find this, you can go and find these bottles and you can get cash that way. So it gives people an incentive to go around and look for it for extra cash, and it gives people an incentive to recycle. One awesome thing we do also is with the leftover food, is actually used for like biofuel for buses. So a lot of our buses in Sweden actually run on food that's made into like a gas from the food that people don't eat. So that is a much more efficient way to do it, and I think it's awesome that Sweden does this. Now I hear that certain states like California have much better recycling options, but I just think that Sweden does it so easily. I think the aluminum idea is a really great incentive and something that we could do in the United States that wouldn't be too hard, and I don't think it would be difficult for people to get on top of it, because a lot of times it might be tough to get the money back from recycling aluminum in the United States, where here it's a much easier system. Number 5.
I really love that. I absolutely love that. That would be a way easier system. And I'm definitely bringing all my aluminum. You telling me I get my money back for this aluminum? I'm keeping all my aluminum, and I'm definitely recycling it all because I want my monies. What? You drop your aluminum? No problem. I'll pick that up for you. I'll go cash out on that. I want the money. Sweden. I like that. Y'all doing it right over there. I like
back from recycling aluminum in the United States, where here it's a much easier system. Number 5 has to be public transportation. I know if you live in New York City and possibly Chicago, New York City has some of the best public transportation in the world. But as soon as you go outside the major cities, if you don't have a car, you basically don't have a job or a life, because you just don't have the same freedom that you would have in the United States. The United States system is built around the car. Now take that another way. I have been living in Sweden for 7 years, and I have never once bought a car. Now I'm going to probably get a vehicle this year at some point, but it hasn't been so bad. I pay about $100 a month. I get unlimited buses and trains within the area that I am, and it's not always the fastest to get to work, but you can take advantage of that time. I can read, I can listen to a podcast on the bus. But also if you're younger, if you're like 16 and younger, you have this freedom that you don't have necessarily in the United States as far as freedom of movement, because I was 16 and I was lucky enough to have a car. But if you're 16 in the United States and you don't have a car, you can maybe bike around your neighborhood, but a lot of times it's not really it's not really walker friendly or bike rider friendly in the United States.
Yeah, when I was 16, I was stuck using these 2 feet. Whenever I need to go somewhere, I was stuck using these 2 feet. So as you can tell, I didn't go much places. Did not go much places.
A lot of times it's not really it's not really walker friendly or bike rider friendly in the United States. You really need a car. You can't just like pass an intersection on your bike or walk across it. So that's one thing. The other thing is, like, when I live in Linköping, if I want to go to Stockholm, it's a lot of times more cost effective and actually faster and cheaper to just go ahead and take a high-speed train to Stockholm. It takes less time. I can then take a bus from somewhere else. I'm heading to Stockholm this weekend, and it's just the best efficient way to do it. We just don't have the systems in place in the United States to do that yet. I know they're talking about having a high-speed train in California, which would connect San Francisco, Anaheim, and Los Angeles, and I think that would be a really interesting thing. It's just trouble finding the funding now. And I think in the United States we would really benefit from adding some public transportation, especially things for biking and things like that. I just think that people need more options, and on top of that, it is overall better for the environment. Now, I know that the United States kind of economy runs off of selling the car, but if you look at the statistical data, most millennials nowadays are owning cars less and less and actually don't feel that need to have to own a car. So I think you're going to see people renting cars in the future and moving more towards public transportation. I think it's better for the environment. Like, I'm in much better shape because I walk to a lot of places or bike. So awesome way that they go about it. I think Sweden does a fantastic job with this. Now, if you guys want to support me in any way, shape, or form, not asking for money, but I work as the community manager of Lurkit. Now, Lurkit is an awesome website where if you love esports, you can get all your esports entertainment in one place, from YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, especially with someone like Ninja moving over to Mixer. What's awesome about Lurkit is you can follow everybody there. You can see when they're streaming. We have a multiple stream service where you can watch multiple streams at the same time. My favorite feature is the tournament feature. Basically, you can pick an esport that you like. I love CSGO, so like over the summer when there was an ESL tournament happening, I can click on the CSGO page and I can click tournaments and I can see the times that the matches were playing because it was in Europe. And we just have a new feature now where you have news and it can work on a mobile app. So what you can do is you can go there and check it out, and if you really like it, I would love if you guys could create an account, because this is something that we really feel passionate about. I'm excited to work with this, and maybe it's not a well-known fact, but I love video games and I love esports. I've been playing CSGO for 6 years at this point, and I'm just excited for the future with it as well. So if there's any time you want to support me, that would be the best way you could support me right now. If you guys like this content, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Head up.
I really rock with that video. And I think he's completely right about, yeah, the millennial. I guess, is there less of a need to own a car in America? I know, I feel like people are still buying cars. Like, people still. But I don't know. I guess I can only see what's around me, and that's not very much. I'm in a small town, so. But I think public transportation is a credible way to get around. Also, being able to walk everywhere, it helps you get that extra. Everybody gets that exercise in. Our road, the way that I feel like most of America is designed, it's just not designed for you to be able to walk places. It's designed for cars. Most of America is designed for cars. But that's all we got for this one. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon and drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You don't subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.